Hello, and welcome to 10 Minutes That Can Change Your Life. This program is brought to you each week by the Port Huron Church of Christ, located at 756 17th Street, right here in the city of Port Huron. Hey, if you've been following us for some time, we want you to know that we really appreciate your support. And if you've been enjoying this program, would you please do us a favor and share it with your friends on Facebook? And we thank you in advance for that. Well, over the past few weeks, we began looking at Romans chapter 6, verse 23, when it talks about the gift of God. And I decided before we unwrap this gift and fully seek to understand the gift, we need to maybe take a step back and understand the giver of the gift. Because sometimes it's the giver that makes the gift what the gift is. So to understand that, we took a few steps back and tried to look at the origin of things. Because there's many theories about how everything began, many theories on how we began. And so we looked at the thought and contemplated, is it possible that we originated from a monkey? Well, I certainly hope not. And then we looked at and thought about when they say that one day a fish walked out of the sea and walked on dry land. I find that one a little far-fetched because there's no fish walking today. It would make my fishing life easier. And then last week, we looked at what is considered the Big Bang Theory, and that there was a moment when everything exploded, and out of that explosion, we have what we have today. Now, the fundamental problem with that is what we're saying is, out of chaos, we got order. But if we really think about it long enough, and just from our life experience, we know it works just the opposite. You get chaos when you break order. You don't get order when you break chaos, okay? You get more chaos when you break chaos. And so it's hard to understand and believe that all of the order that we see, the solar system and all of the order of nature could happen from a chaotic moment. Well, God says otherwise. And I know that for some that's very difficult because you choose not to believe in God. For some, see, the Bible is an archaic book that has no relevance to our society today, and it has no place because it's just an old fogey book full of myths. But I want to challenge that. I want you to use your intellect and challenge the thoughts and listen to what I am going to read for you today, and then make a determination. What makes the most sense to you? What this is saying or what you have heard from others in the past? I think you're going to find that it's harder to believe the theories. And I want you to understand, evolution is a theory. It's not a fact. It's a theory. It's what we believe. Theories are thoughts that we seek to prove, but not always have been able to do so. Well, God is going to provide us the answer because he knew that one day we would struggle with this, and he wanted us to understand how things came into being, and more importantly, answer our fundamental question, which is, where did I come from? What am I doing here? And what's the purpose for all of this? And you know what? The Bible answers all of those and more. So we're going to begin today at chapter 1 of Genesis. And if we get through chapter 1, we'll go into chapter 2. Chapter 1 is the creation of all things that we know, the world around us. And chapter 2 is the creation of you and I, the humans. So Take a listen and let's see what we can hear from the Lord. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, if you ask when was the beginning, we really don't fully understand. But what we do know from just these few words, that whenever the beginning was, the heavens and the earth were created, and God was the force that did the creating. So that was a setup line for everything that's going to come next. And it goes on to say, now the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. And God called the vault sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And it was so. And God called the dry ground land, and he gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees on the land that bear fruit with seeds in it, according to their various kinds. And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seeds according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years. And let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth. And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. So what were those? You got it. The sun and the moon. He also made the stars. And God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth, across the vault of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea, and every living thing with which the waters teemed, and that moves about in it according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them and said, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind. And it was so. And God made the wild animals according to their kinds, and livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And then God said, watch this. Let us make mankind in our image and in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock, and over all the wild animals, and over all of the creatures that move along the ground. So God created mankind in his own image. And in the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food, and all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. Well, I'm sorry. We're out of time before we could get to chapter 2. We'll pick up there next week. I want to thank you for tuning in and following with us on this journey to understand in a greater way our origin of where we came from and this great gift that God has given to all of us. This is Lamar Black, the minister of the Port Huron Church of Christ, saying you can change your life 10 minutes at a time by understanding who God is and this great gift that he's given us. We'll see you right here next week. Until then, be safe and may God bless you.